All right, Shalom. We the brothers of Great Millstone Church in Birmingham, Alabama. As always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Yeah, that's the correct name of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit in the ancient Hebrew tongue. Also want to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out there that is also laboring in His work. Continue pushing out this gospel in all truth, faith, and sincerity until you believers as well, the brothers as well as the sisters, the Akim and the Aqua that subscribe to this truth, So, Spirit allowed for us to come together to go into another sit down, and Lord willing is edifying and comforting, to the body, because we're about to approach a time that's going to be unprecedented. It tells you that in, I think it's Daniel, the 12th chapter. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get it. Let's just let the scriptures come out, because there's a time that can't be rivaled with any other time in history, man. You go into, for an example, 70 AD, the time of Masada, where Israel was forced to commit cannibalism. The supplies was cut off from the city. You go into the time of when we was brought over here as cargo, man, to serve hardcore bondage under the foot of our enemies, man. Even into more recent history, the civil rights movement, Well, guess what? It's a time that's approaching that you can't rival with that, man. And unless the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shah, has rested upon you, you're going to get caught up in that. All right? So go ahead.
Yeah, this Daniel 12:1. Shall Michael stand up, the great prince, will stand up for the children of trouble, such as never was since there was.
See that? You see that? There's going to be a time of trouble. What?
Such as never was since there was a nation.
Now, the time of let's just throw something out there. When you go into the time when we was brought over here as slaves, as cargo, in those ships, first of all, you was snatched up. You was thrown on these ships. You was stacked on each other. You have a term known as, well, they packed us up like sardines, man. You had people defecating on one another, Just say we over here in Birmingham, and you might take a trip to Atlanta or Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida. After a fucking hour trip, maybe an hour and a half, you got to get out and stretch, man. So imagine coming over the Atlantic in a ship in chains for months, and you can't stop and relieve yourself. Matter of fact, somebody hold me there too. I think that's Isaiah 22.
Yep.
Give me that, Isaiah 22. Around 14th chapter, something like that.
22 and like 18.
Scriptures say we coming into a time that can't be rivaled with any other time, man. Oh, also, when you go into when we was brought up, you had those who was getting sick, and they'll throw them over they'll throw them overboard, and it got so bad to where you had sharks circling the ships. Oh, yep, That movie Amistad, yep, it actually captures that. So, do you got it?
Yeah, come. Isaiah 22 in verse 18. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country.
Right, and that's dealing with
18, he will surely violently turn and toss thee.
He's gonna violently turn and toss you. And on that ship, you was turning and tossing with chains on. You know, go ahead.
It says like a
Be tight packed in those ships. This is a powerful highlight. You know, the children of Israel, mainly the tribe of Judah, coming over here as captives, man, in those slave ships, fulfilling the prophecy spoken of in the book of Deuteronomy 28 chapter, man. All right, go ahead.
It says like a ball into a large country.
And that large country will be America.
It says there shall thou die, and there chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of the house.
See that? So now, read this again.
Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince will stand up for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble.
Right, so we just, until that time, we're seeing the pinnacle of all hell right there, man, being chained up, tight packed on the ship. What the Lord says, in the near future, and fast approaching, there's history can rival to that. All right? And if you got a feel for history, you will certainly know about the time of Masada, where they cut off the supplies to the city, and Jerusalem had to eat their belts and their boots, man. And ultimately, they had to eat their children. Okay? Dark time in the history of that. And we said all that to say this. The Lord is going to protect. Matter of fact, somebody give me
Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up for the children of thy people.
Read it again.
It's Daniel 1. And at the same and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children, which standeth for the children of thy people, such as never was since there was a nation.
Right, and when you go back, hold up, not just in Israel, go back to, you go back to any time, the Shiite Muslims. Yeah. You know, you're going to all these different skirmishes. You had the Shiite Muslims against Muslims.
Oh, damn.
It escaped me.
I can't even think about it.
It escaped me. But even them, they was wreaking havoc on each other, man. Oh, you going to like in Bosnia, where you had these mass graves of people, you know? Come on, man. The Lord says since there's been a nation, it's gonna get bad out here, man. And see, we've been reiterating this, man. The Lord put us out here to keep pushing this, man. You know? But guess what? For you brothers and sisters out there that trust in Yahweh by Shema Shah. Matter of fact, let me get another scripture. You know how scripture come to mind.
Alright, this is Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5.
See, that's like Christianity in the modern sense of the word. This is going to preserve you in the time of the sad perils. Those who are going to escape the wrath of Yahweh by Shema Shah is going to be based upon a belief. So go ahead,
Because Proverbs 30:5, every word of the Most High.
He is a shield. See, go ahead.
He is a shield unto them that put their trust in Him.
See that?
See it?
So that's the dynamic, you know, that's the flip side of it. Although there's going to be a time never seen ever before, since there's been a nation, even shield to you, man. See what I'm saying? So now, let's go back to when we was at, I know y'all got two precepts. Yep. That what you got too? That's spirit. Matter of fact, let double down here. Get your piece up first, then we get that Sirach.
That's like Psalms 18:2. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust.
Oh, in whom I will trust. Now, what does it mean to trust in the Lord? Man, when we tell you that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast spoken on Revelation 13th chapter, when you believe that, when we tell you all hell gonna break loose in America in the form of food shortages, dishing among men, you know, when you believe that, that means you trust in the Lord, man. And there's plenty of scripture to support that.
16, he that heareth you heareth me, and he that despises,
man. So if you trust in what we're saying, it is bad. Because see, the Lord set us up as lowly guys. So you got to be in the right spirit to believe us. Case in point, if you got a woman, right, and you walk off a store and you whine and dine on her, then it's up for debate if she's with you sincerely, man. Let's debate it. Is she really with you? Because you showering a gift. If you pull up on a bike and you got shortcomings, you're not doing too well, and she with you, that means that she with you sincerely, man. So that's why the Lord used us sweatpants. The scriptures say, rest with us. Somebody can hold. So the Lord laid us out there so he could see the intents of your heart. If we had this big mega church, you know, that seats 90,000 people, if we had these private jets, surely you will believe in us because of the tangible things, the carnal things. But now the Lord raised us up as lowly men. So this filters out all the BS. Now you're not trusting in us per se, you trusting in the words that we pushing. See, then the Lord bad, man. And there's no way you can finesse him. Okay? And the scripture say that the Lord knows who's his. And we can get that. That's in Nahum, the 1st chapter, man. Lord said he knows who's his. Okay? So, go ahead and get that Sirach 2 and 10.
This is Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old.
Now, the scripture says, look at the generations of old. And through the spirit of the title of the lesson again, the things written aforetime. Because the things written aforetime was written for our comfort. There's different situations, scenarios that took place that we are to read and digest and do that. Go ahead, I'll read it again from the top.
Look at the generations of old and see did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded. See? Did any trust in the Lord and was confounded, man. So for you brothers and sisters out there that trust in this doctrine, the Lord is not going to, it's another scripture too where the Lord say, he's pitiful and long suffering.
Matter of fact, jump down.
Matter of fact, just read it. It's right 14. It's in this right here. That's right. Off the water. Huh? Continue. Keep reading.
It says, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Go ahead.
Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Whom did he ever despise that called upon him, man? See? Go ahead.
For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction.
In the time of affliction, man. And that's what we coming into, man. And that's what the Lord is going to spring into action. That come after us, that great flood come after us, then the Lord going to set up a standard, man. So we got a lot to look forward to. This is not just a gathering where, remember, it's a method to this, man. There's a method to you being able to digest this word, okay? So, anybody got something before we move forward? You got nothing? Now let's go into what you got.
Esther.
15 and 4. Go bring it up.
Yeah, this Romans 15 and 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
See, whatsoever things were written aforetime was written for our learning. This is not just a book that you sit up and then collect dust. Although there has been a narrative, your grandma Jake, they got the book open, Psalms 23rd chapter, man. It's sitting on the coffee table for 22 years.
You change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You mad at it.
Why this book ain't on side? You know what I mean? No, the things written in here, this is a guide, man. This is a blueprint, if you will. This is a manual, you know, to that's gonna comfort us. Matter of fact, give me what scripture say, I will send you the comforter.
John 14.
Mm-hmm. And somebody get Ecclesiastes 4. So this book is comforting us. You know? It's all whenever you know what's gonna happen, man, you comfort it. It's a saying, the fear of the unknown. When you don't know what's gonna happen, you can fall apart, man. And that's what our people, they think that this is a perpetual state. Like they're gonna just continue to get shot by some damn cop, you know, and lock arms for the next 100 years. No, man. You see what I'm saying? That was Jake think, man. Matter of fact, go ahead and give me that Ecclesiastes first.
Yeah, it's
We gotta get this first.
Ecclesiastes 4:1. It says, so I return and consider all the operations,
Read
it again.
That is it. All the operations. Yeah. Let's look up that word operation, man. Go ahead.
So I return and consider all the oppressions.
Oh, the scripture said, I return and consider all the oppression. Now, when you consider oppression, what nation of people resonate with being oppressed, man? Your uncle could have 3rd grade education, but I bet you he know his ancestors were slaves. So this proves that we the Israelites. Read.
It says, so I return and consider all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
Here on the planet Earth, go ahead.
And behold, the tears of such were oppressed.
And the tears of comforter, man. So our people, they bang their head against the wall. They try to figure out a formula to get out of this situation they're in, right? But they got no comforter. What's the comforter? Hold that and get what you got.
This book of St. John 14 and verse 16. It says, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter.
See that, man? You got to be thankful the Lord gave us the comforter, man.
That's it.
You got Jakes out there with $1 million, and they depressed.
That's it.
They depressed. They on the bench. They on the verge of committing suicide, man. Why? Because they got no. See? Go ahead.
That he may abide with you forever.
Right. When you go into the word abide, it takes you back to the word abode, which means to stay with you. All right. Go ahead.
Continuing on, verse 17. Even the spirit of truth.
Oh, even the spirit of truth. And when we break the scriptures down, your auntie ain't gonna get it, man. Your favorite cousin ain't gonna get it, man. And I bet you if you go into that word world, there's cosmos, you know, which translates to Israel. So the 2/3 of our people can't receive this. But you gotta be thankful that you can receive it. This is high level knowledge, man. And the Lord designed you in such a way without vomiting it up, this strong drink. Oh, the scripture tell you, give strong drink to those who are ready to perish, man. And that's this knowledge, you know. This strong drink is bitter. It's like a real bitter drink that if your belly ain't strong, then you'll vomit it up, you know. You got to be built to, go ahead, huh?
If I might say, the scripture said, those who didn't love their life unto death.
Yep.
Strong drink for the world.
Just strong drink, that's it, yep. Yep. So this knowledge is a serum. It's a truth serum. Yep, right now.
Just back you up about that bitter. Revelation 10 and 9. And I went into the angel and he said unto Slock, let me read that again. Revelation 10 and verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book, which is the scriptures. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy as honey.
And that belly is your mind.
Right.
You know? So if you ain't got a strong mind or a strong stomach, they even tell you that if you drink it, man, you ain't got a strong stomach, man, you don't want to fuck with this right here. Because you're going to just vomit it right back up. And that's violent. That's a violent act. When you vomit, that's violent, you know? But the Lord designed you. Oh, go ahead.
It's like I said, before you go to war, the warriors take a strong drink, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
Right. That's to condition them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They put them in a calm state.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Get them damn near numb them.
Yep. That's
You know,
it.
Get a little adrenaline pumping.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Strong drink. Yeah.
That strong drink, it give you a certain outlook.
Right.
You ready to face the world.
That's right.
That's why they say like a drunk, like a person that's drunk, they'll take on anybody.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. True.
So the Lord got us ready. We amped up, you know. Yep, you got more? So what we was reading? Give what you got real quick, and what you was reading.
Yes.
Hold up, I'll slide it. I'll finish this off.
It says.
Oh no, hold up. You right here.
Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, continue
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Continue. That's right. Then we go back here.
I come in 17, even the spirit of truth,
See, even the spirit of truth, bro,
whom the world cannot receive,
whom the world cannot receive, read,
because it seeth him not.
it seeth him not. What do it mean when it says seeth him not? That means you don't see what the scripture's saying. And there's a saying too, I see what you're saying. So they can't see it. Go ahead out.
Neither knoweth him,
Oh, neither they know of him, meaning they don't know the scriptures. They don't know the scriptures, man. They got, with the word no, go with the knowledge. Go ahead.
but ye know him.
But we know the scriptures. But we know the scriptures. And you know the scriptures. Go ahead, out.
For he dwelleth with you,
Hold up, for he dwelleth with you. That's the spirit of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
and shall be in you.
And shall be in you. That's St. John the 15th chapter. Go ahead.
Verse 18, I will not leave you comfortless,
I will not leave you comfortless. Meaning what? The spirit of the Lord is in this book.
Is it? Is it?
You see, hey, that's bad, man. The Lord said he would not leave us comfortless. Go ahead. Because everything is a mental game. You can have $100 million, but if you messed up here, it don't matter, man. You can take everything from us, but if we still got this, we good.
That's right.
You can lock my body, but you can't lock.
Any plague.
Give me, oh, get that. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Go ahead, up.
It says, I will to you.
Read that again.
It says, I'll read again. This is St. John 14:18. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you.
I will come to you. Meaning, oh, that links up with Revelation the 2nd and 3rd chapter where the Lord said he come and knock at your door. We woke up here in Babylon and Yahushua came to us, man. In the spirit. That's a bad, hey man, Yahushua bad, man. He came to us in the spirit this time. See what I'm saying? And he came through understanding. Which, when you read Proverbs the 8th chapter, that's dealing with Yahushua, which he letting you know that I'm really wisdom, motherfucker. I'm wisdom. When you really go into it, I'm wisdom. I'm wisdom. That's why Yahweh said, I love none, but he that dwelleth with wisdom, with Yahushua, man. I dwell in you and you in me. That's the breakdown, man. Yahushua is wisdom, okay?
Right.
All right, hold up. What we reading? Get this real quick. We're gonna go back down.
Yeah, this is Sirach 25.
Start back at the 18th verse. Go ahead.
Please ask us Sirach 25 and 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart.
Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Why? Because this is what this thing is about. This is a mental game. Again, this is a mental game. And this shouldn't be a foreign idea because everything you do start with. Let's prove that. In the football field, right? You can be physical fit and all this. You can be 6'8", 200 pounds, basketball, football, or whatever. But if the game plan, the X and O's ain't up to par, you're going to lose. I can run a trick play on you with a nerd. Yeah, some nerd running a flicker play and flicker flip, and some do it wide open. Why? Because the logistics of the play, man. Okay? Read this again. That's why it's all, everything starts with your mind. The penitentiary is packed. The graveyard is packed with niggas that made a bad decision, man.
All bronze, no brain.
Yep. Oh, woo, all bronze, no brain.
That's it. Yeah.
Pinky in the brain, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
It said,
Good lesson, you know what I mean? We break, and that's what throw people off. That's why this truth ain't for everybody. Don't marvel not. I do a lesson, it's commentary around pink of the brain or some shit. You know what I mean? What I'm saying? I'm just saying.
That's spiritual.
It's spiritual. Everything's spiritual, man. You know? This ain't for the faint-hearted, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you feel like?
No, so like going to war, like you were saying, I remember you say, war going to the swinging the sword, and he had no plan, he was exhaust himself. Eventually the other enemy gonna come in and kill him.
Beautiful.
They exhaust themselves out.
Yeah. You overexert yourself, you use your energy. You could be 6'8", 200 pounds. Oh, King David. King David was witty. As a kid, he was witty. He got them stones, and he probably was running around there. I wish you could watch that, man. That was a bad moment, man. Goliath probably started taking him serious. This little dude tripping, man. Running around and shit. He started taking him serious at a point, you know? And King David hit his ass with them stones, man. Why did he take him down? It was based upon, first and foremost, the spirit of power. How about Shemaiah Shah? But it was all wisdom. Oh, give me that real quick in Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, I believe it is. The wise man that took him sin. Get that real quick. Let's get that. You got something? Okay, go ahead. This from the brother GMS Living Water, Shalom. It's Proverbs 28:6. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his unrighteousness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Read it again. Proverbs 28:6. Better is the poor that walketh in his unrighteousness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Woo! See that? Hey, because we really got the real riches. And it don't matter how much you have in this world, man. That's not going to somehow offset the intense purposes and plans of your how about Shemaiah Shah, okay? You got something else? Yeah, GMS Living Waters, one more precept, Ecclesiastes 9:18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. Ooh. But one sinner destroys much good. Right, wisdom is better than weapons of war. hey, that Trump Esau. Hey, that's the Jacob and Esau scripture. That's the Jacob and Esau scripture right there. God. Because why? Esau was given the weapons of war, but we was given the wits. We was given wisdom. Jacob was shrewd, man. And you gotta remember, that wasn't a one-day thing. When Jacob supplanted Esau that day, he was constantly trying to get that birthright. He was constantly, hey man, all that. Hey, you gonna give me the birthright? Nah, man. You know what I mean? And he finally got his ass, man. That's right. And which through the spirit of power, how about Shemaiah Shah? We're gonna go into Mordecai through the spirit. And that was Jacob and Esau. I mean, not saying that was the spirits of Jacob and Esau. That was the overtone of that struggle. That's that fight. You know? That's that fight. See what I'm saying? It wasn't just designated to a moment. That was that wasn't just a snapshot in time. That's an ongoing thing that's happening to this very day. Because Esau right now trying to get us and jam us up. You see what I'm saying? That's right. But they doing it carnally, but the wisdom we have is trumping their weapons of war. Just like that was the water for that, and that's what we're going to. Get that.
Yep. This is Ecclesiastes 9:15. Now that was found in
jump up.
Alright, let's see. Alright, I'm gonna start at 13. This is Ecclesiastes 9:13. This wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city and few men within it. And there came a great king against it and besieged it and built bulwarks against it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man.
And that's dealing with us. Yep. We that poor wise man. See, go ahead.
And he by his wisdom delivered the city.
And he by his wisdom, not by any external carnal weapons. You got jakes out here, man, with motherfuckers selling bulletproof replicas of bulletproof vests with a menorah on it. Hey, I'm telling you, man, I can't wait to get how about somebody get you niggas, man.
Take one bullet, nigga.
Fuck
Nigga
'em,
died
man.
out 22. I'm tired of you,
Man, I'm
man.
tired of these niggas, up. Straight up, man. Go ahead, up.
It says,
How long must we suffer these niggas, man? I mean, straight up, man. But that's what the scriptures say, riches is not coming for a nigga. Niggas selling bulletproof, a replica of a bulletproof vest online, man. Oh, then you got some niggas showing up with the strap at camp.
Yeah.
I think them HOI niggas at Atlanta, the nigga had the strap on. What?
You come with the strap.
Yeah, niggas coming to the camp with the strap, the register pistol. Now, we ain't saying that it's against the law to have you a weapon.
Oh, no.
But if you really locked in, if you really a serious-minded brother, man, you don't even want to go there. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man, Ephesians 6 chapter telling us
it.
what?
That's it.
The word is the sword, Slug.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
word
yeah.
is the sword, man. That's
Yeah.
all you need is the word, man, to
That's
fight
it.
with, man. You don't need no goddamn scrap, man.
That's
Because what? If you sow to the kernel, you going to reap to the kernel, man.
That's right.
You sow to the spirit, you going to reap to the spirit, man.
Beautiful.
Fuck wrong with you, motherfucker, man.
He started doing a drive-by on you, man.
Yeah, man. That's a threat to Esau, man.
Yeah.
That ain't being wise as a serpent and harmless as a
Yeah,
dove.
mama, it's a dog,
That's
man.
it.
Damn.
And that's wisdom right there too.
That's wisdom,
Wisdom
man.
right there. How serpent move. You know.
Yeah,
you know, serpent
yeah,
dance,
well,
You
you
know
know?
the subject that. He's shrewd. He deals. Matter of fact, give me that. Give me wisdom of, not wisdom of Solomon. Bell and the Dragon. You know what I want? Bell and the Dragon.
Big ass 40.
I think the 26th verse
You
out.
see the motherfucking strap before you see it going.
I got a quick precept.
Go ahead, huh?
This is Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them
That's
that
it,
fear
man.
him
Mhm.
and delivereth them.
Right, so it's the Lord. Hey, you are offsetting Yahweh Shema Shai to a certain extent when you take it upon yourself to preserve yourself, man. The Lord gonna preserve you through his servant Yahweh Shai. You know? No, you got that.
There's no trust, man. They don't have no trust. They don't have no faith. How about Shem Yahshua? So you know they're just doing it for filthy lucre's sake, man. They ain't doing it for salvation. And who are they edifying with straps on their side? I'd be afraid if I was on the outside coming to the camp. I don't want to see no niggas with no guns, man.
I just come out and see.
Yeah, I mean,
My uncle just got jammed up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Look, JJ got shot, and you see it. You come on, man.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
ain't.
You seeking for the truth.
Yeah, you seek for the
You
truth,
got it.
and you strapped up with bulletproof vest, man.
Carnal, man. Scripture said that's enmity, man. That's why the spirit on. We hate that shit, man. We hate carnal niggas, man. You know?
Quick precept.
Yeah, come on, let's get it. Let's get you on first, then you get yours.
Alright, this Matthew 26 and 52. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
Right, and that's plain. Although the take the sword shall perish by the sword.
That's right.
That's plain right there. They ain't got to be broke down right there, man. Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
This is Psalms chapter 12 and 5. For the oppression of the poor, for the sign of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him.
Ooh. Yeah, and that word puff, when you puff a cigarette, every time you puff it, the fire. You got something else? Get what you got, then we go ahead.
This is verse
Yes,
6.
sir.
The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever.
Ooh, and preserve. Because when you preserve something, it's to keep you from the elements or the conditions that surround you.
That's right.
That's the form of preserving you. To keep you from the conditions that's around you. You might have an apple and it might be in crazy conditions, but somehow you preserve it, you know? So when you really pay attention to that, that means we ain't gonna be exempt from everything that's happening around us. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be in the midst of it. But the Lord gonna preserve us. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, get what you got out.
It's on Romans 8 and 6. For to be carnally minded is death,
That's it.
but to be spiritual.
Whoa. It didn't say to be carnally minded.
That's it right there.
You do what you want to do, believe what you want to believe, you be carnal, we can agree to disagree. No, it says to be carnal minded, you gonna die, man.
That's right.
Why? Because now you done fell into Esau's wheelhouse. You planning this, you going to war with him in his backyard. Go ahead. And, you know, who would pity a charmer?
That's it. Yep.
That's bad.
You know, come on, man. How about you outside bad, man?
That's it.
Go ahead,
It's on Romans 8 and 6. I want to say something too, like, you know, battlefield, man. You gotta, when you go where you going to war, you know, you in the enemy's backyard, whatever. You gotta know the strength and weaknesses.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
What's Esau's strength? The guns,
Right.
man.
That's it.
And then they guns they got is more better than what you got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like some knockoff shit from the past. They got.
Right.
Yeah, they got a rusty chopper from 1947.
Right.
I mean, literally.
AK-47.
Niggas riding AK-47 from 1947.
It's a chopper from
Beautiful.
47.
And these devils got some shit that they conditioning to fight a damn supernatural being with. All right, go ahead.
Back in our Romans 8 and 6, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Huh?
I'm gonna read
You got something else?
Yeah, I'm gonna read this out.
Mhm.
This is on Romans 8 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it said because carnally minded is enmity against the Most High, but it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be.
Mm-hmm. You got it. I want to break it down.
Come on, you go ahead.
Yeah, so it can't be subject to the Most High, meaning what? If you carnal, you can't come under the rule of the Lord. And the Spirit had it when we were going into that word subject before we went live. It's a compound word. Sub meaning under, and ject meaning rule. So if you carnal, you can never come under the rule of your how about yourself. You might try to come in the camp for a minute, and we're gonna sniff you out. Ah, this nigga ain't right, man. Okay? Oil and water don't mix. Just to simplify it. You got some more of that? That was it? Okay.
Got something back.
Bring it up.
Yeah, First, 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 3. It says, "For we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal."
And I'm gonna say something. The Spirit of the Lord got us going into all this, man. Cause you know where we was going, and we went because something about to happen, man. Hey, the Apostle High even said that January jumped off with all these fireworks, and it ended with Kobe Bryant dying. That took me by surprise, man. Kobe Bryant, goddamn, right? But then now February, it's chill. That means the Lord about to do something, man. So that's why these scriptures coming out. We gotta be focused now. We gotta understand that we gotta remain spiritual. You know?
I know everybody when they heard about the Kobe Bryant thing, celebrity and that. So they ain't hit on TV. Everybody got texts, calls, texts.
Yeah. Oh man.
You said like you sent a text. When I was asleep, going up to it.
Oh shit. That was that alert. That was the trumpet. Because when you get an alert, that's the trumpet sound.
Yep.
That Lord said, I killed Kobe, man. I'm taking responsibility for that. What you gonna do about it?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down the strongholds,
Mm-hmm.
casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High,
There go wisdom again. Go ahead.
and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of a Mashiach."
Right, and that's subjection. We're going to the subjection. So what y'all got? Yeah, let's go back to that. Then I know what you got. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of this back in Ecclesiastes 9 and 15 again. It says, "Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet
By his wisdom, delivered the city, man. Go ahead.
Yet no man remembered that same poor man.
Mm-hmm.
Then said I, wisdom is better than strength."
See, wisdom is better than strength. Although we don't appear to have any power, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got a standing army, man. Any military to even stand up to Esau, man. If a carnal setting, we stand no chance against these devils, man. But through the Spirit, through the Spirit, we're going to overcome, man. Go ahead, out.
It said, then said I, wisdom is better than strength.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard.
Right, and that's a true statement indeed. Because when we bring out this truth, our people reject it, man. They even resent it. Why? Because that was the fulfillment of the scripture, you know? So, anybody got something? Yeah, get what you got.
Yeah, this
What's
They
that?
trust in their own mind.
Yeah,
They don't trust in the word of the Lord.
That's being carnal.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind
Lean into your own understanding, man.
That's carnal mind.
Yep.
Yeah, this Ecclesiastes 7:19. Wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city.
Hold up.
Hey, this wisdom strengthen you. Yeah. Come on, man. That's bad. Y'all got to break down.
It said, wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. And yeah, with 10 mighty men, you can run circles around them with wisdom, man. You can set it up with the niggas and cut each other heads off, man, with wisdom, man. You know what I mean? So wisdom rules everything, man. You know, pretty much.
You duck, they knock each other out.
Yeah, kind of.
That's on faith. Proverbs, what is it? Proverbs 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
That's it.
So everything, I don't care what it is, man. Riches, strength, beauty, you know, fame. It ain't compared. It ain't compatible with what wisdom. You know, you can't. Wisdom top all things, man. All right, because what the scripture say, the wisdom, everything makes a movement.
Oh yeah.
What's the paraphrase?
Shit's more moving than any.
In any motion, that's right. So it ain't nothing to be compared to it, man.
Yeah, because wisdom is in everything.
The wisdom in
Wisdom,
everything.
I'm gonna say this. Wisdom is even wisdom. It took wisdom to create fools.
Right.
Wisdom is in foolishness. And when you think about it, it took wisdom to create a fool. You know? Lord bad like that. Go ahead, up.
It's like Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time.
And wisdom and knowledge, that's heavy right there. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. Showing you what? It's everything centered around wisdom. That's why we gotta thank Yahweh Shema. And we ain't talking about conventional wisdom here, man.
Right.
You know how to start a damn fire or you saving up goddamn ramen noodles and shit like that, man.
Right.
Not that conventional wisdom. No, this is the wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai right here. What we talking about? Go ahead, up.
I'm reading again Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure.
And the fear of the Lord is this knowledge. I tell you that in Proverbs 1 and 7. Alright? So you got something? Yeah, we gonna get to what we gotta get. Yeah, the spirit of God. We can't, the spirit, go ahead.
This was from Psalm 7, verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passes and goes through all things.
Right, meaning all things, even a fool. Wisdom, it took wisdom to create a fool. A fool is a creation of wisdom. Yahweh Shai created fools, man. He created all things. So wisdom passed through everything. Everything that you see is a product of wisdom. Go ahead, up.
It says, she passes and goes through all things by the reason of her pureness.
See? Yeah, so wisdom is in everything. It took wisdom. In other words, scripture saying it took wisdom to create everything.
Right.
And you see that too if you're in the right spirit. You like, man, damn, man, the Lord's so great, man. This take wisdom, man, to create this, man. You know, it's one thing to create something, but your creations create. That's wisdom right there, man. All right?
I got a precept, man.
Yeah,
Real
go
quick.
ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things.
And that's talking about this wisdom. It's in all things. Right hand and left hand.
So like wisdom even created folly.
Yeah, wisdom created fire.
That's heavy.
That's a creation. That's a bad. That's a bad creation. The Lord created a fool. Nigga to shuck and jive and do some damn jump dance. That was wisdom. God created that. You have to be wise to create that. You know, we really going through it. Created that nigga doing that shook and jive. Yeah, man. Nigga all the time. Fucking nigga, man.
Because like comparison. You get everything like it's a yin and yang.
It's a measurement stick. It's a gauge. So I gotta create a fool. Nigga with some overalls, man.
If it wasn't for a fool, you wouldn't have nobody wise. You wouldn't know what wise is.
Nigga with a straw. You know what I mean? A straw in the mouth. Yeah, nigga watermelon, spin watermelon seed with a
Nigga got the iodine salt, you know what I mean? Got the iodine salt put on the wall.
Nigga got the 90% sitting on a damn swing chair in Alabama, man. That's a fool in his natural habitat. And guess what? Wilton created that.
Right.
Yeah, thick black nigga.
Right. Overall.
Yeah.
Damn. Speaking of.
Willie Earl, man.
Yeah, Willie Earl. Yeah.
Go ahead, give it to you. Come on, everybody got to get. Let's get into it.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 3, and I'm going to jump right in at verse 5. When Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not,
Yep, come on, let's read
nor
that.
did him reverence, then
Matter of fact, you might want to jump up, Bob.
Come. All right, this is Esther 3 and 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
And now that's the spirit, because that's being played out today. That's the time of this lesson, the things in the foretime. You got Amalekites, you got Edomites, which, what's Haman? What was his nationality?
He was an Amalekite.
He was an Amalekite, which was an Edomite, right?
Okay.
But he was an Amalekite, and he was set over all the princes. Meaning, when you fast forward today, who over everybody?
Yep.
Amalekites, right? Meaning they got everything at their disposal.
Yep.
Okay? So go ahead,
Come. It says, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman.
Right, and all the king's servants that was at the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. Go ahead.
For the king had so commanded.
Oh, can I say
concerning him.
too, real quick? That's everybody outside of this circle. They show reverence to this system. And who the driving force behind this system? The Amalekites, man. The international bankers, man. Okay, the chief house of the nation of Edom, man. When you want to go to college, when you want to further your life, you want to set up a soft landing for your kids, that means you're showing reverence to Amalekite, man. The Amalekites. Go ahead,
For the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Right, now hold that and go to Daniel, the 3rd chapter. When you go into the scriptures, it might be a different twist, a different story, but it's the same narrative. And even Yahushua showed that. You know, Yahushua would say the kingdom of heaven is a treasure in the field. The kingdom of heaven is a net. It's the same thing, but he's throwing different stories out there at you. Story don't change, you know what I'm saying?
Same narrative.
Same narrative.
Different scenarios.
Different scenario, you know? You got the Daniel, go ahead.
Daniel 3 started at 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Right, so they didn't bow. Now, if you can go to when they said, when you hear the sound of the...
Yep, I'm jumping down. All right, verse 15. It says, now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the fiery furnace. And who is that God, that power, to deliver you out of my hands?
So Lord set it up.
Yeah.
So when we do what the Lord told us to do and not bow to them, He's going to surely deliver us. But now, you see where that's the same story. Let's read this again.
Come. It says, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king has so commanded concerning him.
Just like him. Did not the king command for everybody to bow? It's the same narrative, man. These devils going to command for us to bow to them. But it's going to come in the form of that chip. That's going to be showing reverence right there. And if you don't, to that decree, that's going to be made mandate pretty soon here in America, you know, Cause you got these niggas. You had one nigga said, "I ain't no weak Jew." From the IUIC made the rap song. I ain't no weak Jew. Then you had nigga. He be spin bars. He got the ICBC. He be spin bars. You'll think he the hardest nigga in the world, but guess what? He gonna bow down, man. Okay. Because it's tells you in Revelation the 3rd chapter, the Lord gonna keep us from the hour of temptation. And the Lord put a heavy spirit on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man. Just like he put a heavy spirit on Mordecai. See, you can read that, but you gotta visualize that, man. The chips was against him, man. Because there was no power in Mordecai had. Because they set up the garrisons and all that. Go ahead.
Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Well, let's go back here.
God. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this. Is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
Go ahead.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image which thou hast set up. Come on, man.
And that's the same. That's being stubborn in righteousness, man. Which that goes back to what's that? Second Ezra, second chapter. These are those who stood so stiffly. It's the same story. Like they're gonna be rewarded.
Yep.
And Lord will, we numbered amongst that precious elk. Now let's go back here.
We'll jump down a bit. Verse 5, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then Haman was full of wrath.
Hold that. Let's go back here.
It's verse 19. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury. This was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times.
So that links up with Revelation the 12th chapter and the 12th verse. And this time, the devil shall come down with great wrath. Why? Because we ain't submitting to their will, man. It's the same story, man. You get a chance to put yourself and align yourself with great men. We get a chance to live out that story. We get our chance to stand stiffly for the word of the Lord so he can step in on our behalf. See that? See that? The book of life. The book of life, man, is narrating us to this day. Go ahead, up.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai.
Like Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead, let's go back here. Let's go back.
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army. It is going back. Come on, man.
Hey, man, whoa. Come on now, man.
Yeah. You see, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach.
Lay hands on him.
Yeah, that's it.
Bind, lay hands. Read that again.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai.
Man, come on, man. Is that Esther 3?
Yeah. And then Daniel 3. Third part of the the third installment. The Lord gonna get us out of this one.
That's right. That's right.
Third war. All that,
man. Come on, man. One part, man.
Yep. Well, we read that again. Let's go back, man. Take it up, man. Yeah, go ahead, man.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Go ahead.
It says, in the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of the king Ahasuerus, they cast pure, that is the light, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Hold on, you know we get that with the Daniel. It say that in Daniel. It say that too, man.
Because
Hold on, read that again.
it says, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Right. So it said, if it please the king, let's kill these guys who don't want to believe or show reverence to what you publishing, right? Now, let's go back here. Go ahead.
All right, this is Daniel chapter 6 and 10. It says, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power, and he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying, making supplication before his power. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any power or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the captivity of the children of Judah,
The same. Regarding that, go ahead.
that Daniel, which is of the captivity of the children of Judah,
And that's us.
regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but make of his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and he set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. And these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him to the den of lions. Now the king spake and said, Daniel, thy power whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee.
Yeah, now, but the point is what? They was petitioning that this guy who was of the captivity of the Jews refused to hearken to the decree. And that's what we see reading right here. Read it again.
It says, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it to the king's treasures. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemed good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province according to the writings thereof, and to every people after their language. And in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. We'll jump down a bit. The copy of the writing for the commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. Chapter 4. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth of ashes, and went out in the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry.
Oh, come on, man.
Sackcloth,
Sackcloth, bitter cry.
Yep.
In the midst of the city.
In the midst of the city, that's somebody to the prophets, man.
That's
The
it.
things written aforetime was written for our learning, man. Go ahead.
Come. And came even before the king's gate, for none might enter.
Going to the gates of the Lord.
Yes.
Yep. For
That's
now,
what's happening, man.
Yep.
They got the scope on us. They want to put us to death because we refuse to bow to Haman once more, man. You know? Yep, You got a precept?
Yeah, can.
Go ahead.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestions of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whosoever would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
That's it.
Then might a man have seen the present misery. That's,
Go ahead.
hey man, generation after generation, man, who's
Things
put
on the pause.
under subjection, man. All right, on these other heathen nations, man. And they what? They gonna put you to death if you don't follow the same fashion they is, man. That's simply what it said.
Things written for
And that's what they're planning.
These are
They're
the
planning to
stories.
put us to death, man. But as you're going to read right here, with this dynamic between Haman and Mordecai, the Lord is going to deliver us. Come on. Let's wind that up.
okay,
Go ahead.
come. There's let me get this right here. In every province whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Come on now.
Jump ahead. Chapter 6. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles that were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told Bigthana and Terkesh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on King Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai.
Yep, to hang Mordecai, man.
On the gallows that he had prepared for him.
Right, and that's what these devils doing. These devils prepared. These devils got guillotines, though.
That's it, yep.
It's already prepped.
It's already
It's
prepped.
already prepped.
They got guillotines prepped. And that's like a more efficient way to get rid of us and shit like that, man. It's handled too, man. Like the neck, that's the same thing. Like hang by the neck.
Yep.
The motherfucker want to cut our necks off, cut our heads off, man. Same thing, man. You know? They got it prepared. Yep, go ahead.
This is Ecclesiastes 51:8. Then thought I upon the mercy, O Lord, and upon the acts of old, how thou deliverest such as wait for thee, and savest them out of the hands of the enemy.
Hey, that's bad. We're reading it right now. We're reading it right now. We're reading the story of that. And that's why we just came out of the Feast of Purim, man. Because why? We're in that time. We're in a time where things about to happen. And the Lord put the spirit on a lot of brothers to, spotlight this, man. And jog your memory, stir up your memory of how the Lord sprung into action concerning our forefathers, man. That's the same power we talking about. That power that you're reading about right now, he alive and well, man. He here right now in the spirit. His presence here, man. Yeah, come on up.
So Haman, and the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court, and the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to honor more than to himself? And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought with the king, which the king useth to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most notable princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighteth to honor. and bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste, and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do it even so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. Then Haman,
Wow, that's raw.
Hey, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Well,
Then Haman, and it's like, then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. And Mordecai came to the king's gate again. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hastened to his house mourning and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but thou shalt surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, and came to the king's chamberlain, and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared. Let me jump down a little bit. It says, and Esther, this is Esther 7:6, and Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of his wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Okay, and Haran, one of the king's, and Haran, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged him on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
I was, oh, his rapper, please, man.
Right.
Taking his own. Yeah, oh, that's it.
That's the king.
Spirit created vengeance so he can appease his wrath.
Right.
You can receive it.
Yeah. He's taking his own advice, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go ahead and close out with Haman.
Oh yeah, I just read that right there.
Oh, you read what he put on the gallows?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So through the spirit and power, Yahweh, the Lord is going to flip and bounce, okay, the things that these devils have prepared for us on them. And that's how, and that's something that you gotta embrace and trust in. The Lord gonna work a marvelous work, you know. You're gonna be faced with adversity. Matter of fact,
I gotta get a quick piece of.
get what you got. Somebody hold me Acts 14:22. I know y'all got the precept. You got that?
I got you.
This is Job.
So like, before you get it, you know what? Go ahead and get it out. Go ahead.
This is Job chapter 5 and verse 12. He despoileth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands
Oh,
cannot
that's beautiful. I'll
perform
read
their
that again.
enterprise.
That's beautiful.
He disappointeth the device of the crafty.
Right, the Lord disappointed the device of the crafty, man. Do you understand that we at the mercy of the Lord, and there's nothing you can do? You can't come up and formulate a plan, man. It's the Lord's mercy that's going to work this work for us and get us out of this situation, man. These devils is working They working, man.
Yep.
We try to jam us up. But guess what? The Lord's gonna foil their plan, man. That's bad. Yeah, go ahead, up.
So that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
That's right. Yep. Come on, get what you got.
It's the book of Acts 14 and
You
verse
got something
22.
real quick?
Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High.
Right, so through much tribulation, we're going to enter to the kingdom of the Most High. So the Lord is going to be dramatic, okay? Get what you got, then we go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 51 and verse 9. Then lifted I up my supplications from the earth and prayed for deliverance from death. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord, that he would not leave me in the days of my trouble and in the time of the proud when there was no help.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Hey, that's good. Hey, that's bad. The time of the proud, man. They're dealing with these devils, man. You know? And that's bad right there. You're in the time of the proud. Yep, that was it on that?
Continue on. Verse 11, I will praise thy name continually and will sing praise with thanksgiving. And so my prayer was heard, for thou savest me from destruction and deliverest me.
Somebody real quick, get, I think that's 2nd Ezra 11 and 44, I believe.
Read that again.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on, we're going to go back there. We're going to go back there. Yeah, because that's bad right there.
Revelation.
2nd Ezra 11. I
Second Ezra.
think it's 2nd Ezra 11 and 44, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. There's 11. Verse 44.
Proud time.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep, that's it. Yep, 2nd Ezra 11 and 44. The highest also looked upon the proud times.
See, and that's talking about now. That's what you read. Go ahead.
And behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled.
See, this is it. We in the time where the Lord's going to close this thing up, man. Yup. And that's bad. 11 and 44. That's 144.
Ooh.
That's 144.
Right.
It's the time of the elect. Yeah. So come back where you at.
Back in Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach 51 and 10, I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord,
Which is your house side.
Right.
Ooh, the Father of my Lord. Go ahead.
that he would not leave me in the days of my
Oh, that's
trouble.
what were you reading that?
Sirach 51 and
Okay,
10.
so right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, that he would not leave me, all right, in the time of my trouble and in the time of the proud, where
Lazy,
there
proud
was
time,
no help.
And that's talking about now, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This guy Trump, man, this pride at his height. Go ahead.
Verse 11, I will praise thy name continually and will sing praise with thanksgiving. And so my prayer was heard, for thou savest me from destruction and deliverest me from the evil time. Therefore I will give thanks and praise thee and bless thy name.
Ooh, that's bad. Hold on,
Shot.
Hey, so with that, man, hope you brothers and sisters were edified. With that, want to give all praise, honor, and glory.
See Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushua, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the head apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the brethren out there laboring in his work, as well as you believers, the Akim and the Aqua, the brothers and the sisters that subscribe to this truth as well. To the next time, Shalom.
Shalom. DTA, Abba,
Soon.
To you creepy
Proud time.
Proud.
To the proud.
That's good.
To you creepy crawling germs.
That's amazing.
Dealt to you damn Hamanites, man.
The seed of Ham.